Dude, it's episode 2 and I already fucked this show up. How's that possible? Just so just so people know, I recorded episode 1 like months ago. I think it comes out in like late August. I recorded that shit in like June. And then only like a week or two later, I recorded episode 2. And it was this big Quaywood thing. It had this big intro and my master plan. I talked so much shit in it. And I went off to Oasis. I fucked off to Europe. Came back. Files are just gone. I don't know what the hell happened to that recording. But it's episode 2. How did I already fuck this up? I have another show. Me and Nick do Greenlit. We're like 50 episodes deep. And we've lost one episode like 4 years ago. And director and development, I've been in this podcast game for years now. I had this stupid Heartmelon Pelton hour like 5 years ago. I've done Greenlit for 3. I have a new show, and I still fuck it up. How the fuck's that possible? Anyway, welcome to the now second edition of episode 2 of Director and Development. God damn it. Welcome to Quaywood. Welcome to Quaywood Productions, really. I know if you listen to the first episode of this show, which, judging how Greenlit goes, I'm going to guess 4 people this time. Greenlit, we usually get like 3. We get my dad, Nick's girlfriend. I don't know if she listens anymore because she now lives with him. And that might be too much Nick. No offense, Nick. Listen, I live with Nicole, my best friend. She used to listen to every episode live when we did it at Emerson. And I know we have new Greenlits coming out. And I turned to her the other day. I'm like, hey, you don't have to listen to the new ones. Like, you live with me. It's a little different. When she listened live, she was doing like the Los Angeles Emerson program. I was back in Boston doing live stuff with Nick on the Emerson radio, and then it came out as a podcast. So that made sense. Like, she's supportive. She's super fucking awesome. She's actually the guest for this episode, so you'll listen to her talk in a minute. Thank God, too much me. But now that she lives with me, I'm like, you don't have to listen to the new Greenlits. You probably hear me record them. And she still is gonna? I don't know if I would. Is that kind of wrong of me to say? Like, if the roles were reversed and she had a podcast, but I see her every day and I hear her record the episodes, I don't know. I think, you know what I would do? I really hope she doesn't listen to this. I would put it on like the background and like mute it. So she at least gets like the view. So like the algorithm's like, hey, somebody listened to the whole thing, and like you have a fan. And I would be like, yeah, I listened to it. It was so good. But like, I don't know. Do I need it? Do I need more Nicole? Is that wrong? Probably a little bit. Anyway, welcome to Quaywood. I kind of want to break this episode up into 3 major talking points. And by I say I kind of want to, I mean I did months ago, and I have to redo it. But I want to break down Quaywood, what Quaywood is currently, our immediate goals for the future, and kind of like future Quaywood projects that we're currently working on. Little inside news, little inside scoop, and then the big master plan for Quaywood that gets to Avengers 9, or the first MCU project, prove myself to Kevin, even though he told me to make this podcast, hi Kevin Feige, and then get to Avengers, and then I'll be like, oh, he's like the savior of the MCU, like we should have let this guy direct Iron Man, even though he was 7, like he still would have crushed it. So Quaywood, again, if you listen to the first episode, sorry to repeat, but if you haven't, hi. Quaywood Productions is essentially a collaboration between me and Nick, my co-host of Greenlit, but also my creative partner for almost everything I've done. We did River Fork together, Triptych together, Psychedelic Toad, Mama's Pie, all the short films, all the podcasts. We've done every single project. If I have a creative thing, I go to him and I pitch it to him. Like, what do you think? If he has a creative project, he comes to me. Usually not as good as mine, but he comes to me. Sorry, Nick. Comes to me and he's like, hey, what do you think? And we just bounce ideas back and forth. I fucking love working with this guy. And I think the greatest strength about me and Nick, this is kind of derailing, but that's what this whole show is. The greatest thing about me and Nick is I've had a creative partner in the past. I'm tempted to say his name, but fuck him. I've had a creative partner in the past, and we also worked really well together. But the strange thing is, when me and Nick first started, we worked great. And then there was like this period where all hell kind of broke loose, and we worked terribly together. Like, I would just kind of be an asshole. He would show up kind of late to things, or it was hard to get a hold of him. And, like, I would just be a dick in response, so he didn't want to work with me. It was just kind of like this mess. but because of it, and then that was like around the Triptych era. So then when we got to Psychedelic Toad, we kind of like got our shit together and we kind of came back together. And he's now like the strongest partner, also in the bedroom, but he's the strongest partner like I've ever had. I think because we went through that slump. Like with the old guy, it was just easy all the time, which sounds wonderful. But I don't know, something about it, like we've been in this together and we've been through fucking hell together and we came out of it and now we're like better creatively than we ever have. And again in the bedroom, like in the sheets, power bottom, dude. I don't know, I fucking love the guy. So I knew kind of when I came out to LA, it took me a couple months, but I'm like, I think a production company would be a really good idea because me and Nick have so many projects and to put them all under one umbrella and then also including all the people that we love working with, like that we've worked with on short films, we've had as guests on Greenlit, and we want to work with them on all future projects instead of being like, hey, it's another Pelton Warner project, which right now means nothing to nobody. Like a total stranger could watch Psychedelic Toad and Your Mama's Pie and have no idea that that's a Pelton Warner thing. But now, because of Quaywood Productions, it's all under the same roof. So it's like, oh, this is Quaywood. Like these are the same people doing the same stuff over and over again, which is awesome. We wanted one giant home to put everything under, and that's what Quaywood Productions kind of is. It's also fucking brilliant for marketing. Instead of like my name and Nick's name, no, it's a big fancy logo, and you have all these people attached and a beautiful website designed by yours truly. You're welcome. If you go to like the YouTube, it's all greenlit, it's all the short films, it's just everything's there. So when you see a Quaywood, a little voice crack there, holy shit, I'm keeping that in. So when you see a Quaywood Productions like product, whether it's a podcast like this, or it's like a short film like Mama's Pie, or a mini series coming down the road, you know that's Pelton Warner. You know what's going on. You're like, okay, the Quaywood Collective, for those who don't know, the Quaywood Collective is just a group of like crew members that we've worked with in past projects. And anytime we do a project, no matter what it is, they're our first call. Like, hey, we need lighting. Call Nora. She did lighting last time. Like, hey, we need a score. Call Amy. She's done our scores for everything. And I love that woman. She's like my John Williams. I just told her that the other day, and she's British, so they don't take compliments very well. And I'm like, hey, Amy, you're basically my John Williams. I want to work with you for the rest of my life. And she was like, haha, that's sweet. Anyway. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. But point is, when we need a score, call Amy. And it's all just right there. It's so easy. Quaywood Productions. And a lot of people seem into it. I was really nervous to launch Quaywood. We launched on June 1st, for those who don't know. So we've only been alive for like 2 months. And I was nervous it would kind of look like gimmicky. Like a lot of Emerson kids have their own production company. And you go to the production company's Instagram, they have like 6 posts. And the last post was from like a year and a half ago. And they've all died, or they all have like no followers. And they're producing nothing. And I'm like I'm so nervous to be like, here's another production company. Same with this show. Like, dude, I'm like a 23-year-old white dude who was in a film fraternity. It's so bad to say I have a podcast, let alone 2. Do you realize how fucking terrible that sounds? If I'm on a first date and I say, hey, like, it's nice to meet you, but and we're talking, and I'm like, yeah, I have a film production company. I have 2 podcasts. I was in a film fraternity for like 3 semesters. If I was her, I would run. I would block the number. I would never talk to me again, and I don't blame her. But anyway, I was very nervous watching Quaywood, but so far the reception's actually been really great, which all jokes aside, we've really like appreciated that, and it's been really nice to see people kind of understand what we were going for and kind of be like, oh, like I like Quaywood. It feels like a home for all the projects. And this is before any new projects even come out, which again, I'll get to in a second. But what is Quaywood? It's basically me and Nick's dream baby. It's essentially what Quaywood is. Even this show, like, he was the guest on the first episode. He'll probably be a guest again because I don't have that many friends. And he's a producer on it. So he listens to all these episodes before any of you fuckers do. Like, he is the guy. He's my man. And again, just like a major power bottom. I really hope his girlfriend's not listening to this. That would be really bad. I'm friends with her. I think I'm gonna lose that friendship after this. But anyway, what is Quaywood Productions? Quaywood Productions is me and Nick and anything we do, from short films to miniseries to podcasts to hopefully in the future feature films. And the further we progress, the further Quaywood comes with us. And same with the collective. It's almost like Amblin. When you see Amblin, you think Spielberg. When you see Quaywood, you think Matthew Pelton and Nick Warner, who is a power bottom.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm Pelton's roommate and bestie for the restie. Don't get it twisted. I met Pelton freshman year of college, and we were in the same friend group, and then I moved off of the floor and did not see him for another year. And the next time I saw him, we were in Amsterdam studying abroad, and we had a couple of classes together, and then when we came back, we had a podcasting class together, funnily enough, and that's kind of when we became besties for the resties. And here we are. Now we live together in LA, and it's been about a year since we've moved here, which is crazy. We've worked on Your Mama's Pie and Tales from River Fork. And I've been like kind of, I don't want to say like a producer, but like a helper on the outside for Please Don't Lick the Psychedelic Toad, and I think that's kind of it. I didn't start working on like writing or producing with Pelton until Your Mama's Pie, but yeah, and to be continued. There will 100% be way more. We're working on Citrus together, and we've got a couple of other projects to write, but we have not started yet, but we will. I may or may not be very biased because not only am I Pelton's roommate, but I'm part of the collective. So I have been so like gung-ho on Quaywood since before it was even announced. I'm so excited for it. I've been doing a lot of like outreach for it and getting the word out and trying to make every single person in the world aware that not only is Quaywood Productions like gonna be a big deal, but excuse me, Matthew Pelton's gonna be a big deal. But yeah, I'm so excited about it. When Pelton first told me about it, I think when he first told me about it, it didn't even have a name yet. I think he was telling me his master plan, you know, and that he was gonna make a production company, and then came the name. And I wish you all could see the sticky notes he has on his door, the Google Sheets, Google Drive, everything of like, he literally has this mapped out to a T. I think that kind of like drive and that kind of passion over Quaywood, it inspires me to be super into it. I don't know, he really believes in it, and obviously as he should, because it's Quaywood, but like it's contagious. And I think that that's part of why I like work so hard on trying to get everybody to know what this is, because I'm like, listen, Pelton's putting so much work into this. He knows this is gonna work. If he's confident that this is gonna work, you should be confident that you want to follow Quaywood. But I'm just very excited for it.
Okay, so what's coming in the future for Quaywood Productions? Act 2 of Episode 2, Round 2. I didn't realize there was that many fucking 2s in this thing. Again, I already recorded all of this. Fuck me. But what's kind of in the future of Quaywood in the immediate future? So we have new greenlets getting released starting August 14th. I think by the time this episode is out, there are 2 new greenlets. If I did the math off the top of my head correctly, I believe. So anyway, for Quaywood Productions, one of the biggest things, like I kind of said only a couple minutes ago, is a lot of production companies, especially people our age, like in film, majors and stuff like that, they make these things and they're all excited, like, oh, my movie like is under this new production company. That means me. If you see this company, it means me. Same kind of idea of Quaywood. But then they release nothing. Like, there's nothing new. Because short films, especially when you're doing it as a student, because you gotta remember, when you do a short film as a film student, you're mostly doing it for free. Obviously, there's a budget. You gotta pay for props most of the time. If you go to a film school, a lot of the equipment you can get through the school. So you're usually not paying for equipment unless you're shooting it over the summer. Like, for example, we did Please Don't Lick the Psychedelic Toad over the summer. and we did it independent of Emerson. We did not work with Emerson. We didn't work with Emerson for all 4 of them, but for the other ones, we just kind of snuck equipment out of Emerson, told them it was for class when it really wasn't. But for Psychedelic Toad, we did it over the summer. So when we did the budget, we had to rent all the film equipment. So we rented like a Blackmagic camera, which is like a 4K. We rented the lighting equipment, the sound equipment. So the budget for that one like ballooned way more than Triptych before it and River Fork before it. But point is, usually when you do a short film, you don't pay cast and crew. Everyone's just trying to get their name out. Everyone's trying to get experience because none of us have done this. Even if you've been on sets in high school, when you go to film school, a film school set is a very different experience from like a high school thing. High school, me and my guy at the time, we would just like take an iPhone and just shoot shit and just like edit it on like iMovie in a day, and that was about it. And then I got to Emerson, and all of a sudden there's boom mics and there's like gaffers and grips. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So you quickly learn it's a different thing. But because everyone's doing it for free, the things take a while to finish. They really do. And everyone's busy. Like, when you, okay, Psychedelic Toad, for example, that thing is almost like 20 minutes long. When you have editors that also have 4 classes, just like you do, they have midterms, they have finals, and they have other projects that they're working on, especially at a school like Emerson, because it's a small school, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a long time. So to these production companies that I'm kind of ragging on a little bit, if I'm being honest, I don't blame them because this shit takes a while. Mama's Pie we shot in like October of 23. That shit didn't come out till January of 2025. That took almost a year and a half, which was crazy. Like, but it happens. Again, the colorists we got for that project, they had other projects, a shitload of other projects, and they had classes, and we didn't pay them because we were broke. So it happens. So again, not ragging on them. But for Quaywood, one of our goals was to kind of always have content coming out and content that we're proud of and like we really want to make and we're excited about. So that's why Greenlit we brought back from the dead. It had 3 seasons. We fucking love doing Greenlit. If you don't know what that show is, it's basically a podcast where we revisit movies from our childhood and see if they hold up when rewatching them as adults and like how they got made. Oh my god. That's okay. At the beginning of every Greenlit episode, Nick, who's like more the host than I am, he's a host. I'm just kind of like I'm a nicer word than guest, if we're being honest. But Nick always does a little intro, and I almost got that shit word for word. I never take notes. I'm a lazy fucker when it comes to I can't believe it's got Greenlit. But I think I just fucking almost memorized Nick's intro. It's whatever, dude. See, that's why I win the Emmy. Sorry, Nick. But anyway, we want to make content that we really like doing. So Greenlit, we always had a great time doing. We're very passionate about it. And director and development was a really fun idea of like, hey, I'm trying to break into this industry as like an actual film director and get my name and the Quaywood name like some attention and have that actually mean something to people. So if I ever make a movie or I'm going to pitch a movie and they're like, okay, well, why the fuck would we work with this guy? I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't just some dude off the streets that just graduated film school like everybody else in Los Angeles. Like, he actually has kind of a backing and he's doing kind of cool stuff, and like he has a production company and people are fans of this company, so there might be a built-in audience for things he makes. That's kind of the goal. It's like the first short film, River Fork Community College, that, whether you like it or not, that got us very small following at Emerson for like a couple months, and then we didn't end up doing anything with it, and we kind of just moved on, which I don't regret, because again, we were young, and River Fork is River Fork. But if you have a name that means something, that's why we kind of went back to Tales. Like, hey, if Triptych was the first short film me and Nick started, we obviously would not have made like a spiritual sequel to it. But we started with River Fork. When we kind of got to Emerson, it was like, what do we want to end our film school journey on? What's the last project we're going to make as Emerson students? And we thought, well, why don't we end where we started with River Fork? And with River Fork, we built like kind of a world. We built a whole school. And we built kind of like a name. Like a lot of Emerson kids, especially our year, when you say River Fork, even if they haven't seen it, they know what that is. They're like, oh, that's like the Jonah comedy thing. So to kind of circle back to it, wasn't that bad of an idea. And we had a really strong idea that we liked. We didn't go into it saying, hey, what's going to get us the most views? It was like, hey, Nick, I have this idea for like a River Fork miniseries, and I think it really could work. And then he agreed because he fucking rocks. But anyway, we always want new content, and we want to do with Quaywood on a much larger scale what we did with River Fork. Of like Quaywood, hopefully that name just has more meaning, and people start to like what the fuck we're doing over here, because I really think we're doing cool stuff. And when we get to that point, we're trying to make something more professional and break into an industry that's incredibly hard to break into. It's like, oh, these are the Quaywood guys. So stuff we're working on. We have the podcast coming out. So there's always something new. I never want Quaywood just to sit dormant. I always want cool projects. Me and Nick are always doing cool stuff that we're excited to do. And we hopefully will show our excitement through the projects themselves. But yeah, we always want new stuff coming out. So once a week, we have podcasts coming out. Greenlit, director development will keep going and keep hopefully growing. And especially like the more I break into film, the more I can kind of share my experiences and my journey through this podcast. And Greenlit's just about revisiting sometimes fucking horrible movies from the early 2000s. It's just fucking fun over there. And then on top of that, we theoretically are shooting a new short film in December. It's called The Citrus Sunken Sunshine. And once again, just to demonstrate sometimes how long these things take, how long this process can be, even on a level of student, is I wrote that script my last semester at Emerson, which was January of 2024. It's now August of 2025. So by the time we shoot it, if we shoot it in November, December, it's almost been 2 years since I wrote it, and it's a page and a half long. That's insane. So these things take time. If that's your key takeaway from this episode, if you're like in film school currently or thinking about film school, just know these projects will take a fucking hot minute, even if it's small. So the page and a half thing, just to fully explain it, is I had this professor at Emerson who I love this dude. And I sent him all my short films because his feedback was something that really meant a lot to me. I was like, okay, what does he think of them? What kind of advice can he give? Because we did all our stuff independent, so did he. And he just made like a feature film that's on Amazon, and it was independent. And I'm like, dude, I'm literally in your footsteps. Teach me your ways. So I sent him everything, and he gives me like a fucking 60-page essay of notes. And it was so nice. Like, he took so much time to watch all these things. But one of his biggest things, he was like, listen, not that these aren't great. Because he's like, you are brilliant, more brilliant than I am. He didn't say that. But he was like, not that these aren't great. But a lot of film festivals, especially short film festivals, don't want to screen a 20-minute, or like River Fork, a 30-minute short film. Because they want to put in a bunch of short films. So if you have like a 5-minute short film, a 2-minute short film, the chances of that getting into film festivals, and then you go to the film festivals and you network with people, you get to know people. And theoretically, that you're working on those people's projects, they're working on your projects, and you guys are in this together. Film is a very collaborative thing. That's why I fucking love it. But he's like, if you do a smaller one, the chances of getting into more are better. So he challenged me to write a small script, and I wrote a 1.5-page script almost 2 years ago, and we're theoretically shooting that in December or November. We're trying to get it before Thanksgiving, but we'll see. So Quaywood Productions in the immediate future, again, more greenlits, more director and development. Hello. Another short film called The Citrus Sunken Sunshine, which, if you don't know, that comes from, I forget which song. And I have people that are going to get so mad at me for not knowing which song. But it comes from a Stone Roses song. And I got the lyric wrong. I always thought it was The Citrus Sunken Sunshine, which I thought was so cool. And then I looked up the lyrics one day, and it was The Citrus Sucking Sunshine. And I was like, oh, I think mine's cooler. So I just made it the title of a short film, because I'm like, fuck the Stone Roses. I think it's a cooler lyric. I'm taking it. So The Citrus Sunken Sunshine, which is a stolen line from the Stone Roses. I apologize to my beautiful Stone Roses. But that's where the title comes from.
I think that Citrus is such a completely different tone. I think that Pelton's done a lot of like indie drama kind of stuff, but this isn't really like an indie quirk. It's a little bit more like serious, and I don't want to say like experimental, but like kind of in a way. And I'm really excited for it. I'm excited to get the script for it a little bit cleaned up. Citrus is our first project in LA, so we're already starting to scout crew and locations, and I think it's kind of all of our first times like kind of professionally trying to get all of this, and not going through an Emerson casting thing. I mean, like, we might reach out to people through LMU, but it's very different. I'm really excited, especially because this is like why we moved to California, to be in the film industry and to, I don't know, like, be super in it. And I think that this is our first taste of the entertainment industry in LA. And I just have a very good feeling about Citrus, and I have a very good feeling about Tales.
And we also have the mini-series Tales from River Fork Community College. That's also coming out. Again, like I said, it's kind of like a spiritual sequel to River Fork, which was the first ever short film me and Nick made. It's 5 episodes. They're all written by 5 different people at Emerson, so they all have a very different feel. We purposely shot them all very differently because we wanted each episode to feel different. Like, episode 1 is almost like a Ken Burns style documentary, and then episode 4 is like a Halloween party. It's like an advertisement. So when we sent them to all the post-production people, we also gave them that note. We're like, hey, the colorist Z, who they fucking rock too. Shout out Z. They're in the collective. I love them. But we said, like, hey, can you make the first episode like a Ken Burns thing in terms of color? Then for episode 4, can you make it like very like purple and orange, like Halloween lights? But episode 5, make it very saturated and bright. We want every episode almost to feel like its own short film. So it's 5 episodes in total, each around 10 to 15 minutes. So we essentially made an hour-long River Fork movie, which nobody was asking for. I don't know why we did that. I will say the amount of times, like, in River Fork was, I think, like, sophomore year. So me and Nick's friend group at the time, the amount of times they would turn to us and be like, so when are you making another River Fork? And I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I want to try something dramatic and an actual script, which is hence Triptych and Toad and Pie. But I was like, I want to move on to something else. And they're like, no, you should do another one. But they wouldn't say, make an hour-long movie. They'd always be like, do like a Christmas special. And I was like, okay, Christmas special will be fun. What's the story? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Like, you come up with that. I'm like, God damn it. And I always told people, I'm like, hey, if you pitch me a River Fork idea, I will direct it. I just don't want to write it or come up with it myself. And everyone would always have these loose ideas of like a Christmas special. And I'm like, okay, what's the story? And then that's as far as they got. And I'm like, all right, so there's nothing there. You can't just say River Fork Christmas and then give me nothing at all. Because there's so many directions that can go. And then sure enough, I learned, I bit those words only a couple years later. Because sure enough, I came up with an idea for a River Fork sequel. And I'm like, God damn it. I really like that. I really like a episodic miniseries where every episode's different characters and they're all just different stories from this crazy fucking school. And I'm like, of all people, I came up with it. I was so mad. But again, why is it an hour? That's insane. And I have my stepdad, God bless his soul. I love this dude. He's so into my film stuff. Where he turned to me and he was like, okay, it's like, what's this new River Fork thing? And I'm like, well, it's called Tales from River Fork Community College. It's a mini-series. It's 5 episodic episodes. They're going to come out once a week, starting in October, all the way to November. We're doing a bunch of marketing for it. Like, it's going to be a big thing. One of the biggest things me and Nick have ever done in terms of, like, trying to get eyes on it and also shooting it. That'll be a different episode, so be on the lookout for that, about, like, the pre-production and production and post-production process of Tales from River Fork. But probably the most ambitious and biggest thing we have done to date. So I was pitching this whole fucking thing to him. And he's like, why don't you just make it one big movie? And I'm like, well, if we did, it would be very bizarre because, like, after an episode, it would just kind of, like, fade to black and then, like, a new thing would start. Like, the flow of it would be all over the place. It doesn't work as an hour-long movie because you have 5 episodes that each follow, roughly, a 3-act structure, which means you have 15 acts in an hour, which would be the most overwhelming, chaotic thing you've ever seen. Do not do that. So I was telling, like, everyone would work. He's like, well, how long would it be? And I was like, well, if you put all episodes together, I'm like, some are 8 minutes, but some are like 16. If you put it all together, it's around an hour. And I could have sworn he, like, spit his drink out. And he's like, because for the record, he does not like the first River Fork short film at all. He would never say it because he's nice, but he does not like that thing. And he was like, you made an hour-long River Fork thing? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, why? Why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know. It sounded like a good idea at the time.
Again, maybe I'm biased. I don't know. But I'm really excited for Tales. I also think it's just like, it's a very full circle project for a lot of reasons. But I was not really part of the first River Fork. I actually remember not ads for it because obviously it wasn't paid, but like people posting about it. And I knew that it was like Pelton's project and my old friend group. And so I was like, I don't really know what that is. Will I watch it? Probably, but okay, whatever. And then I lived in a suite with 5 other girls. And the day it came out, one of my suite mates came in and was like, oh my gosh, guys, this short film that I was in just came out. Do you guys want to watch it? And we all watched it because our suite mate was in it. And I remember finishing it and being like, oh, that was kind of funny. From what I remember, it was like low key, not like a cult following at Emerson, but like people knew about it in our grade, at least in our year. I feel like people seeing that, like the story, I guess, Dean Patrick Myaz, like coming back almost a year and a half out of undergrad, you gotta think that people are gonna be like, oh my god, I've totally forgot about all of these people. And the fact that it's like not another short film, it's a series. I'm so excited for it. I think it's gonna be low-key nostalgic, but I'm also just excited because I helped co-write it and I think the episodes are really funny. I could go on and on about Tales, to be honest. I'm really excited. We've been sitting on it and it's time for people to finally hear about it.
So anyway, we're filming something in November called The Citrus Suckin' Sunshine, a new short film. And then we have a mini series that we've been working on for almost, once again, 2 years now. Again, these things take time, everyone. Almost 2 years. And it's a weekly episode rollout. Episode 1, there's 5 episodes. They come out on Fridays. Everything is on the Quaywood Productions YouTube channel. So the immediate future, that's what we're working on. New greenlets, new directing development, rollout of a miniseries, new short film. We got stuff cooking. That's basically what I'm saying is we got a lot of stuff that's new. It's not just the old stuff. We're kind of transitioning into new stuff, which I'm fucking pumped. And okay, I've kind of hinted at Act 3 here, but Act 3 is what I keep calling the master plan of Quaywood. And I only call it the master plan because I went to go see Oasis live and they performed the master plan. I'm like, that's fucking brilliant. So I stole it. Once again, you'll see I steal a lot from music I like all the time. Citrus Suckin' Sunshine stole it. Master Plan stole it. There's like all the names. If you watch any of the short films, every single name of every character, minus Your Mama's Pie. Well, there's Lennon, but every name of every character just comes from musicians I like. There's a Liam. I think there's a Noel. There's a Richard for Richard Ashcroft. There's a Jade for Jade Bird. I just fucking steal it. I can't help it. I say it's an homage, but if I'm being honest, it's just stolen. But Act 3 of Quaywood, kind of the master plan. What's going to get me to Avengers 9 is really the question. And the ultimate goal of Quaywood. Quaywood and my future in this industry is all just getting to that beautiful Marvel director's chair. And then once I come out with Avengers, I'm going to throw a thing of smoke down. I'm going to disappear forever. And I'll just go teach film at like some small rinky-dink boarding school in like fucking Maine or Buffalo. I'll just disappear. And I was like, what happened to Matthew Pelton? Like, he had this amazing 2 podcasts. Thank you. He made the best Avengers movie ever, and then he just fucked off. And they're like, yeah, it'll be like a big mystery. Oh, he literally disappeared into a puff of smoke, and no one ever saw him again. I'll go by a different name. I'll be like Professor Relton. They call me Mr. Relton, and I just teach film. And they're like, why are you so good at this? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, are you a Marvel fan? No, I hate Marvel. What are you talking about? I hate the MCU. Whoever directed that Avengers 9 movie is terrible. And like, you look just like him. I'm like, I get that all the time. Anyway, master plan. So again, I've kind of alluded to it, but the master plan that's going to get me to the Marvel chair is keep growing Quaywood. With Quaywood, me and Nick become more recognizable. We have more of a built-in audience. We keep doing, hopefully, projects that people like. Hopefully you're listening to this and don't hate it. That's, same with Greenlit. Hopefully you go listen to that and you're like, this isn't super terrible. Like, I could maybe do another one, and then maybe not a third one, but we'll take the second. Hopefully Tales people like. Citrus, hopefully Citrus especially starts opening some more doors. I can start to network a little more in Los Angeles, get to know people a little higher up. They get to know me and my projects. They get to see what I create, the work I create. After Citrus, maybe another short film. I'm not sure. I had this mindset that Citrus would be the last short, but now, we'll see. But anyway, hopefully Citrus starts opening some more doors and starts to break me into Los Angeles a little bit more. Right now, no one knows who the fuck I am in LA. Nobody. There's a couple people at LMU who know who I am. There's a couple girls from Hinge who know who I am. And there's Nicole. And that literally might be it. I am a nobody out here. So hopefully people start to know me through my projects, through film festivals, through Quaywood, stuff like that. And also LMU. And then me and Nicole, who's my writing girl, we write everything together. We really work well together, like when we're writing screenplays. We have a couple feature film ideas. And it's a big leap, I know. But if we take that leap from short films and we get a pretty big following, theoretically, we take the leap to feature. And I'm a big indie quirky fun guy. I want to make indie quirky fun movies, genuinely. As I love indie quirks. Way back, Little Miss Sunshine. I want to say Into the Wild, but that kind of feels wrong to put in that same category. But you get my point. A little indie quirk, a little Jojo Rabbit, little indie quirks like that. I love, those are my favorite types of movies. So make a couple of little indie quirks, really like start working on my characters and my stories, and make sure that I am at a place where I'm like, okay, I think I'm half decent at this. Maybe we'll try doing something bigger. And we just keep trying to get the attention of Marvel throughout this whole thing. Hi, Kevin Feige, once again, because you did tell me to make this podcast. But even like, okay, I know I just kind of ragged on Taika Waititi for Thor: Love and Thunder. And there are some good things in that movie, if I'm being honest. It's not my favorite MCU movie. There are some good things in it. But before Ragnarok, he kind of did the same thing. He made Boy. He made Hunt for the Wilder People. I think it's called Boy. Did I just confuse that with a U2 album? I might have. I'm keeping it in. He made a couple like indie quirks, and he really got great at finding his voice, finding his characters, finding how his stories progress and the stories he wants to tell. And then, sure enough, he kind of got to this bigger production, this huge budget, blockbuster movie, but he already had found his footing. So he did a really good job, and he knew what he was doing, and he felt comfortable. I don't know the man, but it comes across like he felt comfortable and confident in what he was telling. And that's theoretically the goal I want to get to.
I think that Pelton has such a, I don't even know, he's very driven, and he's very this is my plan, and this is what I have to do to get to my plan, or to get my plan to work, and this is how I'm going to do it. I think that mindset is so good to have, and I think that because he has that mindset, there's no way that plan is not going to happen. Again, he has sticky notes on his door. He has all of these spreadsheets, and he's planned for all of this. He knows exactly what to expect. He knows what's going on. He's done all of this hard work to get his master plan figured out so that he can achieve it. I have absolutely no doubt at all that the master plan is going to work. I don't know how long it's going to take, but at some point in the future, he will be directing a Marvel movie. Genuinely, I know he's going to. I'm excited that I get to see it from beginning to wherever it ends up. I don't want to say beginning to end because I don't want to imply that there's an end, from the beginning all the way up. And we've already seen such success with Quaywood. I think his master plan is brilliant, and I think that there's no doubt in my mind that it's actually going to happen. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Long live Quaywood. Long live his master plan. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about director and development and all of the projects that we have for Quaywood coming up. I'm going to stop rambling on because now I'm just repeating myself, but that's all I have to say. I love Quaywood, and I cannot wait for Matthew Pelton to be a Marvel director.
Even if I don't get to Marvel, again, I've said this before, but all just fucking around aside, all jokes aside, if I get to a point where I feel confident in my storytelling abilities and kind of the stories I want to tell, and I'm I think this is a story worth telling, and I want to tell this story. I want to introduce people to these characters and this world that I created. That's a wonderful thing. And I think if you unlock that as a creative person, there's no going back. You've reached a whole other level. So if we can get there, and if Quaywood can get there, Avengers 9 is possible. I'm just saying Avengers 9 is possible. But anyway, to wrap this up, round 2 of this goddamn episode, welcome to Quaywood Productions, hopefully the future home of Avengers goddamn 9. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. But if you want more of me, next week there's an episode of I Can't Believe This Got Greenlit coming out with the power bottom himself, Nicholas Warner. So go check it out. If not, I will see you soon. Bye!
This has been a Quaywood audio production.